Hello. Today I'm going to talk about something that's really bizarre that happened to me uh, quite a few years ago, approximately, what are we looking at, 12 years ago now. So this was back in 2013. I was living with some friends at the time, who were my friends at the time, and I used to be a weed smoker, so, I liked marijuana a fair bit, and I liked smoking cones, smoking bongs, that sort of thing. And one night I went into the kitchen after basically a party had been going on in our house that I was living in. And I didn't really get amongst the party, but I sort of waited for the party to die down. And then I went to the kitchen after the party had died down to see where my bong was. And sure enough, it was in the kitchen. And when I looked at my bong, I noticed that the cone piece had some green material in it, and I was like, oh, someone's left a cone of weed in there. Yoo-hoo. So I took it back to my room and I smoked it, and it turns out that it was not weed, but it was like this other synthetic weed, almost like potpourri or something, like just deathly sort of stuff. Like after I smoked this cone, I was thrown into a like death spiraling trip where I thought I was dying. Like I was like sitting on the edge of my bed, like it felt like my head was gonna fall off. If my world was like falling down. It was crazy. It was quite frightening. And I was also thinking, like, who the fuck would spike my bong? Someone's put something in there and just left it there. Like, it just seems the most random thing. Anyway, this isn't the crazy part. The crazy part is I woke up the following day and I heard a voice in my head. And it was the voice of my friend that I was living with, who was my friend at the time. But suddenly I could hear him in my head and he was like, it just seemed strange. Obviously, not beside the fact he was in my head, but he was like talking to me as if, there's a situation going on, like this is some serious thing. And I was really frightened about it. I was like, I don't want anyone in my head. No one would want a person in their head. And I immediately started visualizing some like killing fields, and I was like, I wonder if he can see what I'm picturing in my head. So I started picturing like, just blood getting splattered over fields and shit like that, just really like dark shit, to try and sort of kick him out of my head. And sure enough, it worked actually. And then I was like, whoa, fucking hell. It stunned me. And then I spoke to my friend and his girlfriend, they were the ones I was living with, about this. But not so much, sorry, I should say, it wasn't so much about this. It was, I think that maybe things aren't working out in the house and I need to, maybe I need to leave. And my friend, who I thought was my friend, turned around and said, if you leave, you're going to be fucking us over. And I was like, whoa, like, what the fuck? It's like, I need to, and I was in the back of my mind thinking, I need to get out of here, like, something's not right. And then a day later, after I went to bed that night, I heard him in my head again the following day. And it was like, this time he's not going to leave. And he stayed in there. And then he basically sort of started bullying me within my own head and within the house we were living in. So somehow he was talking to me telepathically, but not as a friend. It was like, you better watch out sort of thing. And I was like, I think I was pissed off, but I was thinking I need to get out of this thing. I can't have anyone in my head. That's just absurd. And it's almost painful, like, to think about, imagine someone that getting into your head and sort of bullying you around the place. But anyway, the bullying got worse and worse to the point where they were like, you need to get out of our house, you know, you can't be coming home, shit like that. Like, I was like, maybe if I sort of do what they say, they'll leave me alone. So I like left the house and I started like driving around in my car aimlessly. They were telling me to just drive and drive and drive. Then they were telling me to do really crazy shit, like get out of my car, leave it in the middle of the road. Um, you know, stand in the middle of the road, stand in front of traffic, wave at traffic, all this sort of shit. And it just really rattled me. It like sent me on a spiral of self-destruction. And it got to the point where on one morning they asked me while they were in my head to go and crash into my mum's garage door. So she lived in a suburb that was a while away from where they were living or where we were living. And I drove my car all the way to her house and they're like, right now, crash into your mum's garage door. I was like, oh, fuck, this is going to kill me. But if I do it, maybe they'll leave me alone. I don't know why. I was so frightened and like I was abiding by the voices in my head. So I did it. I drove my car at speed into my mum's garage and just about knocked it off its hinges, smashed it. Smashed my car as well a little bit. The neighbor came running out. She's like, oh my God, what the fuck? Are you okay? Well, just not what the fuck, but like, she was like, are you okay? Are you okay? And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. I felt so defeated. I didn't know what to say. Like, how do I explain to her I've got voices in my head telling me to do crazy, weird shit? All she would have seen is me crash into my mum's garage because she lives across the road. And she would have been like, he's off the rails. But she said, don't worry, I'm going to call your mum. So my mum got called up and she ended up coming home to her place where I was. She saw her garage all smashed, my car smashed into it. She said, Elijah, are you okay? Are you okay? Is everything all right? I said, Mum, I'm not. There's something going on. I've got voices in my head or something. She said, don't worry, we're going to take you to the hospital. And so I got in the car with them. Then they drove me around and the voices in my head were like, you better not be going with your parents to wherever they're going because, you know, we'll kill you. And at some point, my mum was close to this major highway called Canning Highway. And the voice was like, get out of the car right now or else we'll kill you. I was like, fine, I'll get out. I said, Mum, can you pull over? Can you pull over? My mum did. I got out and I started walking away from the car, her and her neighbor, because they were both in the car with me. Then my mum came running after me. She's like, Elijah, what are you doing? You need to get back in the car. We're trying to take you to the hospital. We're going to try and get you looked at, see what's going on. And the voices said, run in front of a car on the highway, get hit, and that was that. And I was like, oh, this is going to be the biggest, daring, most frightening thing I've done up until now. If I do it, maybe they'll leave me alone. So I positioned myself in front of a car that was approaching on the highway and I got hit and I got sent like to the edge of the road, hit me in the hip and the leg, doing about 60 kilometers an hour. I was like, fuck, I cannot. Luckily I survived. I didn't like hit the windshield or anything like that, but I'm on the side of the road. My mum sees it. She's coming running over the highway like screaming and shit. She's like, I need to, Elijah, what's going on? Are you okay? Are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. I don't know what the fuck. And so mum finally got to me and she called the police to see if they could help. And the police did come and they put me in handcuffs to start with because they must have thought I was mentally deranged. But I didn't hurt anybody. I obviously would have given the car that hit me a fright, the person in the driver, who I'll get to that later. But yeah, the police just put me in back with my custody of my mom, and they recommended that I get taken to a hospital. So I basically did. And at this time, my dad was at work. My mum called my dad. She's like, Elijah's not right. I need you to come down and just make sure he's okay. So my dad comes down from work, sees me because I'm in a hospital bed. He's like looking over me like, Elijah, you're going to be okay. Don't worry, boy. Don't worry, son. And the voices didn't go. They were still there. And they said to me, tell your dad you hate him or else we will kill you. And I was like, oh, fuck, like this is going to be fucked. And I thought, same deal, do what they say, they'll leave me alone. So while my dad's trying to like gently make me feel better, I turned to him and said, hey dad, I hate you. And he said, oh, I remember his reaction, and I've never said a bad word to my dad in my life, but that was the one time that I did. And his reaction was, oh, well, why do you hate me, Elijah? And I was like, I felt like crying as much as I could. Like, I think I managed to mutter to my dad. I was like, it's not me, Dad. It's the voices in my head. I don't hate you. I was like, I was so rattled. It was unbelievable. But that really hurt the relationship between me and my dad. It kind of, like, he didn't want to hear that. I didn't want to say that. And that's what happened. And then I got wheeled into the hospital, and they were like, right, we need to send you basically to a mental hospital. So they wheeled me from the hospital. Oh, actually, I think before I went to a mental hospital, while I was in the hospital, I think my stepdad got called down as well. So there was my mum, my dad, my stepdad, all there looking at me like I'm a fucking mental patient in the hospital. The voices are saying, don't you dare stay with your parents. You need to fucking get out, go and kill yourself, get in front of a car. I was like, oh my fucking God, this is the worst day of my life. This is like I'm being held for ransom, and I've got no sort of light at the end of this tunnel because I'm just in the midst of it. I'm in the thick of it right now. It's fucked. And I remember like a couple of times just leaving the hospital, just like walking out in my hospital gown, and everyone's running after me, yelling and going, Elijah, you can't be running out. You need to come back. Get back to your hospital bed. You're not feeling well. And I was like, I don't know. I was so rattled. I was like, do I do what the voices are saying, or do I do what the hospital people want? I felt like I was getting pulled between two sets of people. In the end, I managed to get back to the hospital. I didn't run in front of a car and kill myself, so that was good. But the hospital transferred me to a mental hospital in Fremantle. And then they were like giving me medication. It was an absolute shithole of a place. I couldn't believe I was even in there. Then they transferred me to another mental hospital in Subiaco. And that was a bit nicer, but like the voices were still in my head. They were bullying the fuck out of me. They were like, you know, if you talk to anyone, or you stay with your parents, or, you know, you stare at your own dick, or whatever it is, we'll fucking kill you. That's how crazy this voice thing was. It was insane. And I was at the mental hospital taking all this medication and eating little tubs of food, which the voices were telling me that I shouldn't be eating, and like try and kill yourself. But I just, I did that for like 4 weeks, grueling hell. Finally got released, and then I went back to my mum's house to live with her, and she was like gonna look after me and shit. But the first stages of being at my mum's house, the voices were like trying to tell me how I should speak. They were like, you know, don't talk to your mum nicely, tell her you hate her, and tell her you're fucking, you know, just real commanding and controlling, negative sort of bullying towards me. And it was like weird when I was talking to my mum, because I wasn't talking to her like I was me. I was talking to her like someone was telling me to talk to her. So, and that went on for like a whole year. I was living at my mum's for about a year. And then I lost a lot of friends at this period of time as well. So that was unfortunate. I had my 25th birthday, basically at the sort of critical part of the voices being in my head, and that my birthday, I was in so much like shock and frightened, and I just didn't really get to enjoy it as much as what I thought I would. At anyone that has a big birthday party, I had all my friends there that I used to know, and I've lost contact with a lot of them because I think I changed so much when I tried to talk. I went from being a completely normal kid with them to like suddenly this probably sounded like another guy talking to him, and yeah, so the voices have been in my head for 13, how long? 12 years, I think. And I was taking some medication for it, but I was really, really lazy with it because I kept adamantly believing that these voices are coming from people that I used to live with, and they've somehow telepathically gotten into my head. And so I never really took the medication consistently. I used to be real like anti-medication. I was like, nah, I don't want to, I'm a completely normal person. What am I taking medication for if someone's talking to me externally from a distance in my head, telepathically? How do I get rid of these voices? I don't know if the meds are helping. So I was really lazy with it. And then I had a wake-up call just recently. My stepdad said, you really need to take those meds back to back every day, and then you can decide, and everyone can see whether they worked or not. And I was like, sure thing, that's what I want to do. I want to get the help and support of everybody, whether I believe that the medication helps or not. I'm going to start taking it and take it every day until I can prove that medication isn't doing anything. That's if it doesn't do anything. So, but yeah, so I've been under the belief that I have up to 4 voices in my head that are of 4 different people that I used to or have met in the past. And it's been a roller coaster in the last 12 years. I literally just decided to live with it. Like, imagine waking up, someone's in your head. You go to the toilet, someone's in your head. You're watching TV, someone's in your head. You go to work, someone's in your head, and it's like a foreign body being in your head. It's like it's like someone else's mind has joined yours, and you're just always with them, and you can't get away from them. It's insane. And I did some things like during the 12 years that I've had this, because I obviously knew the people reasonably when this first happened. So after a couple of years of this happening, I went pretty nasty towards them, and I started abusing them a little bit, and I left a couple of things to the guy that's in my head, his parents. I left a couple of nasty things that would have offended them quite a lot. It was like I made up a t-shirt which basically said, fuck the address of where I was living. And I left it on their doorstep as if like, you can wear it, that's how much I hate that. And then I also, this is the worst one, is I went to the house that I was living at that I got kicked out of, and I took a brick with me one day, and I threw the brick through the window, and I just thought, that's payback. You want to be in my head all day, every day. I'm gonna tell you how I feel about that. And yeah, it didn't help the matter at all. It really exacerbated things. They got really angry, and I felt like they were trying to kill me again for about a couple of years. And but I'm just sort of figured, like, I'm a survivor. I'll just go to work and just put it to the back of my mind every day. Try and just get through it without it controlling me. Just surrounding myself with my own personal life experiences and stuff. So yeah, 12 years I've had voices in my head. Have been taking medication on and off. Hasn't really helped. Nothing's really changed, but there is a relationship that has developed with me and the voices in some sense, and you know, they don't want to leave me alone, but sometimes they can almost be nice, um, just with little things here and there, which is really interesting. You know, it's kind of like falling in love with your captor. I feel like I got captured a little bit, and I'm living with them every day, all day. And you know, there's always going to be your likes and dislikes with this sort of thing, but I've always stood my ground, and I really did want these voices to leave me alone and get out of my head. But I guess I can't get rid of them, and here I am, 12 years later, 2025. Voices in my head. No one has believed me that it is external people telepathically projecting themselves into my own head. I've had recommendations that it's schizophrenia, you know, that I think one of my family members said maybe it's a imprint of a memory on your mind that has developed into something that just impacts on you daily. But yeah, it's just like I say, imagine 4 people. Like I've heard 4 different voices. Seems like real people talking from wherever they are in this world. I'm guessing in the same hometown that I'm in. I haven't seen them for 12 years, but they're in my head. And so yeah, what are your thoughts on that for a true, crazy, bizarre story about me and what I've been through in the last 12 years? So thank you.